Random House Audio presents Star Wars, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, by R.A. Salvatore, based on the story by George Lucas, and the screenplay by George Lucas and Jonathan Hales. Read for you by Jonathan Davis. His mind absorbed the scene before him, so calm and normal. It was the life he had always wanted, family and friends. He knew they were just that, though the only one he recognized was his dear mother. This was the way it was supposed to be. The warmth and the love, the laughter and the quiet times. But most of all, there was the smile of his beloved mother. So happy now, no more a slave. When she looked at him, he saw all that and more. Saw how proud she was of him, how joyful her life had become. She moved before him, her face beaming, her hand reaching out for him to gently stroke his face. Her smile brightened, then widened some more. Too much more. He stared back at that caricature of a smile, the twisted face, and recognized the pain behind it, a crystalline agony. Glass. She was glass. And her expression, a look of resignation and apology, a look that said she had failed him, and that he had failed her, drove a sharp point straight into the helpless onlooker's heart. He tried to reach out to her, tried to save her. Then he thought of the Force, and sent his thoughts there with all his willpower, reaching for her with all his energy. But then, she shattered. The Jedi Padawan jumped out of his cot in the starship, sweating and gasping for breath. A dream. It was all a dream. Or was it? He could see things before they happened. "Ancien," came a call from the front of the ship, the familiar voice of his master. Anakin saw her again, his mother, her body going rigid, crystallizing, then exploding into a million shattered shards. He wondered if he should tell all to the Jedi, but his master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, would not be able to help. They were too involved in other things, his training, the border dispute that had brought them so far from Coruscant. The Padawan wanted to get back to Coruscant. He needed to speak with Chancellor Palpatine again, to hear his reassuring words. Palpatine had taken a great interest in him over the last 10 years, had promised that he would become a power even among the powerful Jedi. Perhaps that was the answer. Perhaps the mightiest of the Jedi, the mightiest of the mighty, could strengthen the fragile glass. "Ancien," came the call again. "Anakin, get up here." Shmi Skywalker Lars stood on the perimeter of the moisture farm. Her face worn and tired, she stared up at the bright dots of starlight on this crisp Tatooine night. No sharp edges broke the landscape about her, just the smooth and rounded forms of wind-blown sand dunes. Somewhere out in the distance, a creature groaned, a plaintive sound that resonated within her. Her son Anakin, her dearest little Annie, turned 20 this night, a birthday Shmi commemorated yearly, though she hadn't seen her beloved child in a decade. How different he must be. How grown, how strong, how wise in the ways of the Jedi. Shmi, who had lived all her life in a small area of drab Tatooine, could hardly imagine the wonders he might have found on planets so different from this. She smiled, remembering when she and her son had been slaves of the wretch Watto. Annie, with his mischief and his dreams, used to infuriate the Toydarian junk dealer. "You should come in," came a quiet voice behind her. She turned to see her stepson, Owen. He was stocky and strong, about Anakin's age, and she loved him as her own son. No starship tonight, Mom? No starship this night. Anakin must be busy saving the galaxy, chasing smugglers or outlaws. He has to do those things now, you know. Then I shall sleep more soundly, Owen replied with a grin. I had to let him go. I could not have kept him with me even if we were not slaves. Annie has so much to give the galaxy. His gifts could not be contained by Tatooine. He was born to be a Jedi, born to give so much to so many more. That is why I sleep better at night, Owen reiterated. And when Shmi looked at him, she saw that his grin was wider than ever. Oh, you're teasing me, she said, reaching out to swat her stepson on the shoulder. Owen merely shrugged. Of course, at that time, Shmi had not known that she would meet Owen's father, Klieg Lars, and that the moisture farmer would fall in love with her, free her from Watto, and ask her to marry him. Would she have let Anakin go had she known the changes that would occur so soon after his departure? You did the right thing. If I were Anakin, I would be grateful to you. Come on in, Mom. It's dangerous out here. Beru and Shmi were cooking dinner. Klieg and Owen were out securing the farm from a night that promised dust storms. Shmi was glad this young woman would soon join their family. Their existence here was simple and plain. There were few adventures, and none at all that were welcomed. Excitement out here usually meant Tusken raiders or gigantic sandstorms. Shmi tried to imagine her impetuous and wanderlust-filled son put in a similar situation. His need to leap out for adventure, to race the pods, to fly among the stars would not have been diminished. The two men returned, along with C-3PO, the protocol droid Anakin had built back in the days when he had Watto's junkyard to rummage through. 2 more tank routes for you, Mistress Shmi. I would have brought more, but I was told, and not in any civil way, that I must hurry. Klieg grinned and shrugged. Could have left them out there to get sandblasted clean, I suppose. Your pardon, Master Klieg. I only meant... Of course. If there are Tuskens about, they'd likely have gotten them under wraps before the storm. You're not afraid of Tusken raiders, are you, 3PO? There is nothing in my program to suggest such fear. Enough. Oh, poor 3PO. Go ahead now. I've got more than enough help this evening. Padme Amidala sat in her sister's garden, watching her nieces Ryu and Pooja play tag. She wasn't wearing one of the grand gowns or glittering hair accessories that had marked her station of life for the last decade or more. And in that plainness, Padme Amidala only appeared more beautiful. Did you finish your meetings with Queen Jamila? Her sister Sola asked. It was one meeting. The Queen had some information to pass along. About the Military Creation Act, Sola stated. The Military Creation Act, now before the Senate, was the most important piece of business in years, one that held implications for the Republic far beyond those during the Dark Time, when Padme had been queen and the Trade Federation had tried to conquer Naboo. The Republic is all in a tumult, but not to fear, for Senator Amidala will put it all right. Padme looked surprised. That's what you do, right? It's what I try to do. It's all you try to do. What is that supposed to mean? I am a senator after all. I think you've convinced yourself that you're unexpendable to the Republic, that they couldn't get along without you. Sis, wouldn't you like to have a family of your own? I am working right now for something I deeply believe in, for something that's important. And after the Military Creation Act is far behind you, you'll find something else to deeply believe in. Something that concerns the Republic and the government more than it really concerns you. How can you say that? Because it's true, and you know it's true. I know you get satisfaction in public service. That's pretty obvious. But what about love, sis? What about having kids? Have you ever wondered what it might be like to settle down and concern yourself with things that will make your own life fuller? For the first time in many days, Padme's thoughts roamed free of her responsibilities. Somehow the words, Military Creation Act, couldn't filter through the whimsical song that Ryu and Pooja were making up about R2-D2.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?